Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel today. Today I really wanted to talk to you about high school, about my high school experience, and give a little bit of senior advice. So quickly, before we really get into the video, I just want to give a little rundown of my high school experience. So in grade 9, I had a very hard transition. I grew up in a small town with a school of 100 kids. I've known them all since I was young, so going to a school with like 1,200 kids was a big change for me. I struggled socially, and I guess I had a hard time adapting. Luckily, I did have an older sibling that did help me a lot. So basically, I've had a very socially awkward, isolated high school experience. I want to give you some insight from someone who's not going to sugarcoat it and someone who's not going to describe the perfect fun partying boys high school experience like I always see online, because that wasn't my experience. And if you have an experience similar to mine, then that's okay. It's perfectly fine. Just make the best out of it. First thing I want to dive into is some questions. So I just went online and searched like freshman high school expectations, things like that. So basically, like, the top one that comes up every time is like, doesn't matter if you're popular, I guess. Which, how can it, when probably 10, maybe even 5% of the school is popular? Like, it doesn't matter. Coming from someone who's not popular, and I wasn't like friends with people that were popular, it doesn't matter if you're popular. It matters about the people who you surround yourself with and the people you choose to be friends with. Like, that's what really matters. I don't think there's really any benefits to being like popular, other than like, I guess you get invited to all the parties and like everyone knows your business because everyone's talking about you. Another one that came up a lot, which I definitely felt, was, do people care what I wear? No, people don't care what you're wearing. For the most part, in the grand scheme of things, nobody cares what you're wearing. For example, one of my good friends, she would wear, like, she would try on what she wore like every day, and then in senior year she like literally just wore sweats, like was comfortable all the time, and she was like, why did I used to dress and like that, and why did I try so hard? So it definitely doesn't matter. I feel like that too. Some days I'll dress in sweats, and then some days I'll like wear jeans and a cute top. Like, it just depends on whatever you're feeling. Wear whatever you want. Wear what you like feel comfortable wearing that day, because there has been days where I'll roll up in some sweats, a sweater, and Crocs, and you know, that's the vibe for that day. Another question that I was wondering going into high school is like, do freshmen actually get treated like shit? Because that's like a conception of freshmen and like your first year of high school, is that like you get taunted, and that the seniors and like older class treat you like shit. Honestly, in my high school, like, it wasn't really like that. Definitely the seniors didn't like the freshmen. No one in my school, I feel like, or at least never happened to me, like went out of their way to taunt me at all. My grade 9 year was actually like pretty fun. So personally, my experience, I did not get taunted. In my experience, the freshmen, like, what's it called, the freshman 15, that did not happen to me, but I'm sure it does in some schools, which sucks because literally transitioning to high school is hard enough. And my last question I got, which I also felt like I could talk about, I have some experience, is, will I be able to balance a job and class and high school work? So in my experience, I had a very hard transition to high school from grade 8. It was mostly socially I had a hard transition, and I did have a job going into grade 9, and I did quit my job probably a month and a half into starting school. I did quit my job because I was having such a hard time transitioning. Like, that translated to work, and I didn't want to go to work anymore. Not that I really did in the beginning, but so it really is personal, because I definitely know people that have worked all throughout high school, and people that have had a job since the beginning of high school, and it's still like that, and it's definitely been manageable for them. But I haven't had a job since then, since grade 9. And I'm gonna be a senior this year in grade 12, and I do currently have a job, and I'll be transitioning to a new store when I go back to school. So be sure to update you if your mental health and your school is struggling because of your job. Maybe talk to your parents, talk to your employer about working less or quitting if you have to, because you know you can always get another job. And this is the last part of the video where I just want to give you some advice. I want to tell you the biggest thing that I wish I heard from multiple different people, I never heard it, was that you may not have a typical high school experience. Just remember that you might not have the same experience as your older sibling, or you might not have the same experience as your best friend. You know, everyone's high school experience is different, and some of them suck worse than others, but I guess that's where you learn from it. And definitely being a senior now, I feel so much more confident and like confident in myself from when I was a freshman. I wish I could tell her, listen, it's okay if your high school experience is not like everyone you see around you. It doesn't make you fucking weird. Like, you're not weird just because you're not having the right experience or the experience you imagined. Along with that, I just want you to know that doing something by yourself, being alone in high school, is totally okay. If you are eating lunch alone, it's not weird. Like, I've eaten lunch alone before. I've sat in the hall by myself before. I've had no friends in a class before. It's okay. It's not embarrassing by any means. Like, no one knows your story. Like, no one knows why you might be doing that. Like, maybe you're having a really fucking bad day and you need to sit by yourself and call your mom, and that's okay. Like, people don't know, so it's not embarrassing. Like, don't think of it that way, because I definitely did. I'm like, damn, like, I have no friends. But now I would way rather be sitting by myself eating lunch than being in like a huge social group. That's just not my thing. I do wish people emphasize more that you may meet new friends, and you might make friends that you'll be friends with them the rest of your life, but you may still be friends with the people you've known your whole life, because my best friends, or at least my 2 best friends, my 1 best friend, I have known them for like 8+, 10+ years. So just remember that. Don't feel pressured to make lots of new friends your first year of school. You still got plenty more time. I think that's all the little bits of advice I really wanted to say. My biggest thing I've learned is, again, you might not have a typical high school experience, and you might not have the same high school experience that you've imagined, or like someone you dreamed you had their high school experience, like the movies. Just I don't want to say don't get your hopes up, because I know people that have had great high school experiences and it's like the best time of their life. So just go into it with an open mind. Bye guys, we'll see you very soon.